Hi everyone, this is Meir. I just came back from Brazil, and before that I was in Buenos Aires. And I'm so happy to sit in front of this microphone, partially because I have something to do. Right now that all businesses were closed in San Francisco, except some stores and some courageous people that still want to open their business, and who don't harm anyone. For example, car mechanics that I've seen today. Basically, everything is closed and dead, except I'm not. I am so happy to sit and talk to all of you worldwide, and I know we have 4,000 of you, so I want all of you to hear my messages. Let's talk about something else than Corona, because everybody talks Corona in the news and everywhere else. And now I want to talk about some other problems, like chronic problems. One of the last patients that I saw in Sao Paulo, Brazil, was an elderly man that had sinus infections and had a sinus surgery to get rid of the infection. However, it hurt his optic nerve and caused him total blindness in his right eye and partial blindness in his left eye. And we were throwing and catching balls, and he all of a sudden started to see that he can see with the eye, and I did my regular thing of covering the area of the eye that sees and stimulating with light the area that doesn't. And he became so optimistic about himself. I've seen a fantastic man, 22 years of age, with the worst muscular dystrophy on earth. Much, much worse than the corona. And normally you die from it at the age of 11, but he's still alive. And his parents were so wonderful that when they discovered that he has that muscular dystrophy, and in Brazil, there were no laws that required accessibility for handicapped people. They created their own school so they can make it accessible for their son. Did you hear that? They created their own school. His father used to be a successful engineer, and he stopped becoming an engineer, and he became an administrator in the school. His mother was a teacher, so it was easy for them to do. And they have 1,500 students, including their son, who is a very successful economist and a business advisor. Amazing. I went all the way to Brazil to meet a person who works for Bank of America. Now he's in a wheelchair, and his father stretches him all the time. And what really, really surprised me is that the first time in 22 years, and his parents went to all the top specialists in the world. First time in 22 years, he got a massage for me. And he felt so much better. And instead of stretching his contracted legs with incredible pain for him, with gentle massage and movement, we were able to elongate them without any pain. He felt so excited, so exuberant, and with so much more energy when we finished the session. And his parents are contemplating bringing him to San Francisco. I met a wonderful man who took drops against glaucoma for 40 years. And of course, his visual system got weakened for that. And all of a sudden, he didn't have enough blood flow to his retina. And he lost tremendous amount of vision in his left eye. So I did my regular thing. I patched his right eye very thoroughly. We don't only patch it, we even put masking tape over the area of the nose so no light will penetrate to the seeing eye. I patched the left temple of his left eye, that's the only place he could see, and we stimulated with light. It was interesting. I took him to the street, we looked at the sky and we saw light. We looked at the sun, we saw more light, and then we looked down at the wall and we saw darkness. In fact, in my office, my wooden door to the balcony was broken because I took so many people who had hardly any vision in an eye, and I would open the door, get them out, and they would see the light, close the door, and they would see dark. And because I did it basically 100 times per clients and had 30 clients I did it with, by now we really need to replace the door, and I was given the advice to put a metal door and not a wooden door to deal with it. Anyway, in this case of this wonderful man by name of Paolo, we also worked with red and green glasses, and probably many of you who work with me know this work. We especially looked at flowers, where you would see one color with one eye and another color with the other eye. And of course, it was hard for him to see with the left eye that was 3/4 blind, but he could still see the colors with his left eye, but not totally. Well, at the last day that we worked, and there's so much to talk about, but the last day that we worked, he could see the sky, he could see the sun, and he could see the blue wall that before was completely dark. And with the red and green glasses, he could see fully with both eyes when the light was shining on the flowers. Of course, his left eye does not see anything like the right eye, but its vision improved so much with the left eye, and that is the work of the right eye, and his vision is so much better. And that was very exciting. In Rio Claro, I had 7 sessions, and all of them were amazing, including a session with a person with ALS that I was able to stretch his leg, put him on the table, get him to do movements he never did before. But the exciting session was a wonderful 13-year-old kid whom I met 2 or 3 years ago. And that's when Sonia, probably one of the best, if not the best, eye therapists that I have, worked with him. And the kid lost basically all vision with his right eye, but he saw with his left eye. Now, how did he lose his vision? He had a tumor in his head, and he got the tumor for what Sonia believes is psychological reason. His father committed a real bad crime. He robbed a bank. He was caught, and he went to jail. And when the son knew that his father went to jail, he developed a tumor. And don't think that the mind does not connect to the body. It connects completely. And I'm not saying that all tumors are there because of psychological reasons, but psychological reasons could definitely contribute to them. He now doesn't only not see his father in jail, but he's not even seeing his grandfather, the mother who's raising him outside of that family. So what we did is we got him to cover his left seeing eye and did the exact same exercise that I described before with Paolo. We looked at the sky, looked at the sun, and looked at the dark in the room. We did enough time, and before that, he was able to only see light that shines straight in his eyes, like we have a special lamp that does that. But outside, he could see the sun, he could see the sky, but he couldn't see the light shining on the wall or on the floor. And when we finished the session, he could see that. And the beauty of this is that he was able to then see so much better with his left eye. And it's again that thing that I'm saying again and again. Most people increase their strength where they are strong already. From the age of 17, when I started to do my work, I understood that you have to increase strength in weak areas. For example, I worked on polio patients, and while physiotherapy, for a very logical reason, always increased the strength in the strong arms and strong legs, I increased the strength in the paralyzed arm and paralyzed leg. And sometimes the only strength I could get maybe was 2 or 3%. Sometimes as much as 65%. Guess what? 10 years forwards, most polio patients, even though they were functional, start to get reoccurrence of the polio symptoms, started to get strokes and heart disease, and my polio patients only got it 40 years later. because of the balance that I was able to cause in the body, their strong parts did not collapse. And that is the big message that I have. And I had to one lady with macular degeneration with whom I worked yesterday, where she lost her whole macula in one eye. And I was able to get her to use that eye, and that immediately made her eye that was still seeing see better. So my message to all of you is strengthen what is weak in your body. And I will give you another message this coming Monday. But this weekend, think about how to become strong. How to become strong in adverse situations. How to become strong in all situations. And avoid surgeries if you don't need them. Look what happened to this poor guy who came to fix his sinuses and left with blindness completely in one eye and partial blindness in the other eye. The only one who could increase his vision was me, but that's because physiotherapy for the eye does not exist in conventional medicine, and we offer that. Many blessings to all of you. Now that we're in a very, very tough time, tough circumstances, we need to work on our strength. And that is what I want to offer to all of you. That is where my message is. Be strong, be well, and be happy.